Hello, good morning, and happy Sunday. On behalf of Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive, I'm here to give a quick status update. The first, I'll get some of the obligatory intellectual knots and grievances out of the way. Please pardon me for the painting in the background, which is not ideal. It wouldn't be my choice, but as you know, if you watched all these videos on the Onvoi channel, it's been one heck of a roller coaster ride as far as finding a suitable place to focus on the engineering work, the coding engineering for the Onvoi Entertainment System box and for the keypad device, the two push button remote control, and changing from environment to environment, going from Illinois to Washington State, from Florida to California, Southern California to Northern California, 5 different cities in Washington State, trying to find the optimal environment to really focus on the details and do the nitty-gritty work in order to enable what should be a technological masterpiece and an innovative breakthrough in terms of the technology industry, the entertainment industry, and what I call the desegmentation of the economy when it comes to industry barriers, so that passive traditional content is not mutually exclusive or competitive with the video game industry, but rather Onvoi is going to we will pioneer the happy medium, which is interactive, and it's going to give consumers choice. With the two push button remote control, they're going to be able to guide the stories and guide the adventures of beloved characters on the television set, and that's going to be a tremendous breakthrough, a tremendous advancement in terms of, for the first time possibly in history, industrial history, consumers are going to have a user-friendly and simplistic manner where they are the masters of the storytelling, and simple stories will be told on the screen where they push the top button, they push the bottom button, and that will change all the sequences, that will change all the scenes, the endings will result differently, characters will make different decisions, characters will enter different environments, and there will be more control over the stories on the TV set, on the TV screen, and that'll be a unique entertainment platform that is distinctive, and we have some intellectual property in terms of the tech, and we're trying our best to get into the fine-tuned details so that it is an engineering masterpiece. And I'll give you a specific on that. We're super focused on the security of the coding and the engineering associated with the box that will be situated underneath the TV set. Because Lord knows we've had some wacky things happen with technology throughout history, and especially recently and in recent decades. And we want to make sure that when we put our best foot forward out there as far as the marketplace, we want to make sure that Onvoi Entertainment System, that Onvoi box underneath the TV set, works as securely and as pristinely as possible, so that we can rest assured that consumers will be delighted with the experiences, the interactive experiences that they're able to experience in the home entertainment setting. When they put that box underneath the TV set and with the remote control, they have at it with those interactive mini-series, those interactive experiences, those interactive shortened duration so we don't take everyone's time programming, which will be delightful and uplifting and wholesome, and it will be of a nature that consumers are going to say, this is different, this is new, it hasn't been done before, it doesn't take all my time, it's practical, and when I watch it, I walk away from it thinking, you know what? Every so often, if I do the click, click, and the click, click with the Onvoi, it's worth my time. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I apologize for the optics, because I'm recording in this, using the computer as a camera. And I can see already that there's almost zero illumination of my left eye. So that's an optics glare. I could spend 1 hour doing the setting and all that with lighting and all that. But again, if we don't have a good practical place to work, both in terms of presentational leadership and both in terms of assembling the right team, so that I'm not forced to do every single aspect of this business, from accumulation of capital to thinking about the programming details to thinking about the hiring processes and human resources, so that I can assemble an ideal team where I don't feel like my wallet will get stolen as far as the return on investment, while also coming to the reality where it's my friend, I'm talking to myself, we can't do it, you can't do everything by yourself. And I know there's been a trend recently in recent years where there's been so much impetus, there's been so much hammering home of this message where it says we've almost in some ways given up on others as far as what can they bring to the table, and then the other thing that holds us back, it's, is it worth it? Am I just going to spin my wheels if I get more people involved? And it's kind of that insecurity, that reluctance to let other people into the enterprise, which is not always by choice, because I'm very strategic and very careful when I make decisions. It's not always by choice, but it's that push and pull dynamic. And I guess I say this for other entrepreneurs and employers and employees and anyone and everyone working as far as the workplace. It's that push and pull dynamic. Group environment. Too many people, bad for productivity? Maybe, and oftentimes yes. But doing everything alone, there's always something tugging at your heart and your mind saying, if you don't expand this, and it's not always up to us whether it can be expanded, if you don't expand the operation, then you're doing yourself a disservice because you have something so brilliant and so unique to offer in terms of the product, in terms of the company, in terms of the vision of what we're working on. So I guess with leadership advice, and I say that reluctantly because if you don't have a big team or a big office or a fancy headquarters, is it truly leadership? I don't know. Sometimes I think everyone's a leader in their own right, in the sense that the people who you hire and the people who work for you, and even the people you raise in terms of the family environment, children, and it gets flipped to the parents and children dynamic. It's the people who you raise and the people who you take care of and the people who work underneath you, quote unquote, they often end up running the enterprise in one way or another. And historically, there's been so much a stark narrative suggesting that that's been the problem with business. It's been like a social uprising where these brilliant entrepreneurs and these brilliant companies get compromised or sabotaged because the people who were brought into the company to ascend within the company end up being unreliable or unideal in terms of their motives, in terms of their values, in terms of their morals, in terms of, do they truly have a company agenda, or are they here to waste time, and are they here to cause problems? But it hasn't always been entirely true. And there's always two flip sides to the coin, and the interconnected nature of relationships when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to human interaction, it's 100% true that it's a two-way street. And oftentimes, I find it in myself, sometimes I leave an environment where I was in a particular work situation, trying to run Onvoi, my company, in a particular city or a particular state or a particular, whether it be a hotel room like this one or whether it be in a house in the suburbs or whether it be a place in a crowded city. And I said, I end up leaving the environment upset. And I leave kind of blaming everyone. And this is a problem that I have, I'll admit it. I said, had I gotten the help there, oh my God, I would already be at a $10 million valuation. Had I gotten the right assistance when I asked those people to do a specific task, and this is the egomaniac in me, and I apologize for it always, had they done that specific task in that specific moment, or had that specific instruction been executed, I know that the valuation would have been higher. If I'm forced to do another video with a bed in the background, I swear to God, if the bed and the amateur-esque appearance of these video presentations was not there, I'd already be at a $100 million valuation. $100 million valuation. Well, the good news, and I think I should say this at the end of the video, is we have secured a place, a better place, an unideal place, but a much better place that hopefully we can situate so that more meaningful work, more productive work, and work that advances the agenda and the strategy forward with a greater capacity and with a greater sense of efficiency and efficacy. We have secured the place, but then I'm already getting angry because I said, you're telling me we still have an economy where it takes 1 month to do a real estate closing? for a vacant property? I mean, but I know I have to have some humility because we have to keep in mind that it's just kind of the way it is. Things have become so slow and so challenging. And then the other thing I'll talk about is that, and it goes back to the push and pull dynamic of team versus individual. And I always thought the ideal society was a society where the individual can be 100% his true self. And then he leads by example, enabling that possibility in those around him. But then there's this dynamic where, with everything going on in the world, oftentimes we have these relationships, whether they're friendships or whether they're professional in nature, or what have you, even family. And then when we communicate with them, it's like we need an outlet. We need to be able to discuss the challenges that we're facing. We need to be able to discuss the dreams that we have. We need to be able to discuss the pinpointed strategies that we hope to accomplish going forward. But then we say too much and people get offended too easily, or people don't want to know the details. So then it goes back to this dynamic of, am I sharing too much? Do I have to be more withdrawn and more focused on the work? But the socialization and socializing was always supposed to be such a vital part of the networking equation. So all these dynamics are fascinating and have challenged the human imagination and the human experience for such a long time. But the key to not just leadership, but to being a decent human being is to constantly seek to improve. And when we see issues, we try our best to fix them. And there are going to be certain individuals or influences in life where you're going to say, it's just not worth it. We've kept around too many, not bad apples, but too many counterproductive individuals, oftentimes. We have to give people second chances, because a lot of times in unknown ways or in mysterious ways, they add unique value to the life adventure, the journey. But that said, we have to surround ourselves with great people. But the key to that, and it's a two-way street, people that enable you to be your true self, and they're not easily offended or easily deterred, or you say one accidental curse word and they judge you like you are the devil. No. Okay? We have to grow up, and a lot of that is insecurity that can stem from within ourselves and be imposed upon ourselves if we don't have a proper outlet to communicate. And that's happening a lot with individuals of all types, including myself, where we feel boxed in. And if we don't take time to express ourselves by some vehicle, some method, some medium of expression, then it's not the most ideal environment. It's not the most ideal set of circumstances. So, the engineering specifications, if I get into those details, the videos start to get, I guess, less fun, even though they would be a lot more serious and I would think, a lot more productive in terms of the obtainment of financial capital. But I don't know if life always works that way, sadly. But basically, the box enclosure, the hardware for the box underneath the TV set, I mentioned how we're doing everything to make it as secure as possible from a coding engineering standpoint, so that we can have 100% satisfaction and trust from the consumer vantage point once eventually the OES, the Onvoi Entertainment System, becomes a consumer product that can be bought in the stores and online. But it also has to do with if and when I'm enabled to employ people. And that's always, I have employed dozens of people already in my life. But I always wanted to be a job creator. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I always wanted to build something big. And when it comes to the hiring processes, it goes back to something as simple as that box enclosure. First of all, we're going to do a new one that's going to be to our unique specifications, because the integrated circuits, we're trying to make the graphics of a capability that are impressive. So now we have the circuit boards that are, sadly, but it's realistic and it's smart, the box is probably not going to be that small. But when it comes to the hiring, Do I do the security mounted screws for extra security? Or will that just create a lot of more labor? Because we're trying to make this authentic, made in the USA product where it's assembled in the USA, manufactured in the USA, developed in the USA. And is the security mounted screws and all that, there's different ways to do it. And I won't give away all my strategy pointers because people have to put in the work to get information and know-how. But it's push and pull things like that. How many shortcuts do we take along the way? And not just to, the traditional notion was always take shortcuts to bolster profits, but it's more like take shortcuts to just get the freaking thing done. And sometimes we get so caught up in security and we don't want to share anything, and we get paranoid about sharing, or this person could steal from us, this company could sabotage us, this competitor could be interested, but it may be a ruse where they just want information. And that state of mind can oftentimes paralyze a company, or at least have it work at a rate of efficiency that is not ideal. So these are all the tremendous challenges that we're facing, but we're also making tremendous leaps and bounds as far as progress. And I guess the one status update is as we further refine the specifications of the internals of the box and even the enclosure as far as the box of what it's going to look like, how it's going to work, and all the engineering dynamics associated with that. And between that and we're going to move into a new space. And then of course, if the real estate transaction that's vacant takes 1 month to close, then I hope that I don't move into the place and then I got to worry about the curtains, I got to worry about the paintings, I got to worry about the lighting backdrop, I got to make sure I get a couch, come on, people. Is this an economy? Is this an economy? It will. I think it's going to improve. It will be an economy. It'll get easier. One of the key things is going to be if we start to depoliticize the economy, things are going to improve vastly for businesses of all types, even for sole proprietors and individuals, or individuals with an LLC or a corporation, even for people who work by themselves running a business but doing tremendously important and meaningful things. It's going to improve, and what's going to contribute substantially to that improvement is going to be the depoliticization. When the economy becomes depoliticized, and when consumers and employees and employers and managers and executive leaders are in a position where 60, 70, 80% of their mind, their intellectual processes, are not needlessly convoluted by political things, political processes, or political ideology. When that massive distraction exits from the human consciousness here in the United States, we're going to see an economy, and it may take time, and it will always be a work in progress, but we're going to see tremendous improvement and tremendous growth in terms of the economic figures, the economic opportunities, and we're going to see enterprises of all sizes reach new heights and make new things, special things, important things happen. So on behalf of my humble but ambitious company, Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive, thank you so very much for listening. If you're listening, have a wonderful Sunday, have a wonderful week ahead, and be good to one another, and take care of yourselves, and God bless. Thank you.